I'm not just speaking out the side of my neck. I didn't come on the internet to embellish or invent, but I knew in order to bring attention to my true message, a few celebrities got to get thrown under the bus.
But you're getting hired to go get young ladies that have gotten themselves in human trafficking
Not,
situations.
not just young ladies, your young men as well.
Oh, wow. And is it pretty much always through social media or like a
Every time,
dating app? Every time.
every time.
And what ages are these girls, and what's the ratio of boys to girls? More than a few boys?
So the ratio, I would say, out of 10, I would say 7-3.
Oh, so
Female.
it's all three are male. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh man. So when it comes to the young men,
These are under 18
under 18, always, always.
and they're
Uh,
coming from like broken home or
it varies all the time, and I'll say this: I always kept like only the people who really knew, like my mom and close people to me, like knew that I would operate in the human trafficking field. Simply because when I first started it, it was extremely dangerous.
as far as the people, the traffickers.
Because
What
yes,
kind of people were that? Were they foreigner? Or was it all like when you say they're extremely dangerous? Tell us more.
right. So I ended up in a situation where I had a large bounty placed on my head. FBI comes to my house. They tell my mom, we're looking for your son. We have information. There's a bounty on his life and stuff like that. Because by law, they have to tell you if they know.
Yes, correct.
So my
Who were
team,
the people? Who were? What was the F like? Were these foreigners or these? Who were these people?
yeah. So they were a group of Serbian dudes. Yeah, but they had a connection because my principal client was a Nigerian gentleman. His name was Lambo. So Lambo was Sean Combs to them because Sean Combs is the middleman to the rich guys. He's the
Okay.
party man. He
Yes.
he lines the ladies up. He lines up
Or the
the
fellas up, the drugs.
he lines
Oh,
everything up. So then when he needs things, the rich guys, because it's always somebody richer. So
because Puffy was at Puffy's primary income for the last 17 years was the 60 million a year he was getting from Ciroc because it wasn't music.
right. And once he went against that company, Diage, I seen him sell Revolt TV, and Revolt TV was his baby. So
Yep.
when I saw him sell Revolt, I said, "Oh, he knows that the clock is ticking."
Yep. So
So
Lambo was the Nigerian version of.
yes, Nigerian version of Combs in Chicago. Yes.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was he had two safe houses. One in particular day, I show up to one, and
Oh, so he's your client. Was he a legal businessman or was he just in the kind of the nightlife?
he was in the nightlife. So what happened was he got referred to me by a club owner that I was working with. I had invested some money. I bought 3% of the nightclub. To make a long story short, he never would ever let me know the actual location. He would call for my ride to pick me up. There's no windows on this vehicle. Yeah, he went through a lot to keep this in particular location a secret. And to me, I'm like, man, bro, I've met your parents, man. Why don't you want me to know? Okay. At this particular situation, he was a big poker guy. He would have big poker parties. So what ended up taking place was we at this location, for the first time ever, though, he's got a Faraday box.
What's that? Oh, I know what that is. That stops electronics.
Right. So if you put your phone inside this Faraday box, it's off grid now. No electronic signals getting sent out. So
Named after the physicist Michael Faraday.
absolutely, shout out Michael. Okay, yeah, I like you, man, for sure. So I say, look, I need to use the bathroom. He says, down the hallway to the left. Don't open any doors. I'm like, okay. But here's the problem. As I'm walking down this hallway, I can see the bathroom at the very end of this hallway. It's about 40-foot hallway. There are two doors on my left-hand side. The right side, there are no doors. One of the doors, as I walked past it, it was cracked open, but there was a chain link on the inside that kept it locked. It was two of them. I seen the two chains. So as I walked past, it slammed shut. I'm like, I used the bathroom, and I'm like, wait a second. So I opened up the bathroom door. I flushed the toilet, cut the sink on. That door opens up again. I move quietly. I get close, and I peep inside. I see at least minimum 40 people in this room. The
Oh, so it's like
stench,
a whole nother secret world going on.
yes, bro. And the stench, I'll never forget the smell. The smell was like, I played football, it's like a locker room.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I'm looking like, what the? But then I look, something told me to look down. I look down and I see two little eyes in the top of the head. Uh, and I look, I say, that's a kid.
No.
Door slam. Door slam shut again.
It's a kid?
Seen a kid. So now my heart is beating fast, bro. Because I'm like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah, you can't look past that.
I get back to the front room. I sit down on the couch. My back is to these gentlemen at the table gambling. I hear the Eastern European descent looking guy say this. He said, you know, Lambo, it was as tight as my closed palm and it had no hair on it. You do great business. You heard what I said, bro?
Oh, I did.
That disturbed me right there. And I just had this feeling of like, all right, now.
It must be a dark to be around. Like the only time I've never been around anyone talking like that, but being in jail, you cross paths with people that have done things, but that's brief. And because jail is a dangerous environment, they're not talking about it. But
And
you
then
still get a weird feeling from them. But to hear them talking about it must have really gave you a dark feeling.
I'm getting the chills right now thinking about it because it was the darkest feeling I ever felt.
It's like you're around aliens. They're not even human.
Yeah, man. Like right now, it's a solemn feeling because I said to myself, like, all right, what's gonna happen here if I don't take action? What would happen? So I said to myself, you know what, Keith, don't confront this guy right now about this. When I got done with that particular shift, I spoke to
So
my
this is
mom.
a private house you're at, kind of, or it's just like
So
a
uh,
warehouse or something?
this was a apartment building. The first floor had a convenience store, and on top of it was residential.
Mm.
And we parked in. The driver dropped me off in the alley, and I walked up a set of stairs, so I couldn't see no street signs, anything like that. So I tell him, look, man, I gotta leave. So something came up with my family, et cetera, et cetera. But I waited until their bottle of whiskey got really low. So once that bottle of whiskey got low, I said, it's my chance to get up out of here without him calling and get me driven out of here. So
Were these were people that gave you some sense of danger though?
yeah, like, these are dangerous guys. You know, these are underworld gentlemen. You know, these aren't people that you can play with. You know, and I told myself, I say now, if I do this, this is going to change the trajectory of my life. You know, because obviously, you know, this guy, his name's Lambo. This guy's riding a Lamborghini. You know, he's got
How many years ago was this?
this 2014,
Oh, so 10 years ago.
10 years ago. And I said to myself, you know, after I spoke to my mom, you know, I spoke to my grandmother, rest in peace to her. She died the following year. I spoke to my aunt. And then I talked to my homies. And they was like, look, bro, whatever you want to do, we with you. So I'm gonna I'm gonna omit certain details right now, you know. So once we were able to, I'm just gonna say it, man. A guy ended up restrained to a chair, and once he was restrained, uh, you know, we was able to get people get that room opened up, get the second room opened up. You know, the second room was set up for guys to come in there and have their way with whoever they purchased. And
Were these American? Were the victims
no, they wasn't
American?
American. They were like
Ah,
Pacific Islander, like Filipino stuff like that.
oh, and what had been? How did they? How much did you learn about the back end of it, or not that much? Like,
That's what I learned. That's what I learned. So I found out that his main sources, well, one of his sources of income was they would purchase stolen vehicles, do the VIN swap, put them in shipping containers, and shoot them back over to Africa to resell them. So he had a shipping company. So basically, what was found out later that you know this group came in a shipping container. The group of people came in a shipping container, and then
oh, so they sent, yeah, because people like a human being by weight is worth more than the most valuable drug. I mean, even to come in from Mexico or China, people pay 100,000 a person. So to have a victim who you're sending over that you're gonna sell around, they could be you could make $1 million off of a person or millions
you can only sell a brick once. You can sell a person over and over and over.
over and over.
Right now in Mexico, for 55,000 bucks, you can purchase a 20-year-old female. If you want to buy one younger than that, under 13, it's 200,000.
And then if they're like blind haired, then it's more, and it's all type of stuff, right?
The price changes based off eye color, hair color, nationality, and age.
Are there Americans are over there for sale?
Yes.
Less, but some.
So whenever you hear of an American disappearing in Mexico,
Let
they've
me
been
ask you this: a lot of it's cool to call yourself a pimp in this rap kind of urban culture, but a lot of these guys that are calling themselves pimps aren't really pimps. Just because a woman who's a hoe likes you and gives you some money doesn't make you a pimp. But for the small amount of guys that are really that, they're probably, well, there's two kinds. A lot of it is just stealing.
most of
So
it is stealing.
the when you the more expensive an escort you hire, the more likely you are to be a victim of robbery than to have sex. That's just reality.
Or
Beautiful
yeah,
women don't want to show up at hotel rooms and have sex with strangers. That's
not at
just
all.
not realistic.
Not at all.
Now, sometimes maybe if you're a celebrity, I mean, it goes on, sure, but so there's a lot of theft. But then also, do you think for a guy that's dark enough to be a real pimp, probably part of his income streams, to use a term now, might be get a young person and pass them on to these darker forces.
Exactly. Exactly. So like
But what
a
happened to
person,
Lambo?
so Lambo ended up getting deported.
Uh, no prison time here, or
Like as far as his legal status, I don't know.
but they got him out of here. And the Serbians put the hit out on
Right. And
you. You
that's
said you got poisoned. Did they try to poison you?
yeah. So my toxicology report shows signs of cyanide.
From that night or a different time?
So I had pneumonia 3 times over a period of 6 years, and the 12 months after this event was very tumultuous for me. Very tumultuous.
Chicago is a big city. There's a lot of I mean there's a Eastern European crime presence, and for those that don't know the history, Serbia is right across the Tyrrhenian Sea from Italy. It's east of Italy, and there was that civil war there in the early 90s,
Yeah,
Yugoslavia, Bosnia. So a lot of them are the older ones that are gangsters. They may have been special forces. They're
yeah.
trained. They're like they
So
might be
they
someone like you, but plus who's been in a brutal war, who have no, they have no, humanity left. Maybe
Yeah, they'll do anything to anybody.
they'll do anything to anybody.
I'm getting the chills talking about this, man, because bro, I seen my own blood, man. Like, I got friends in law enforcement, uh cyanide
You
metabolizes.
probably need to in your position. You need to have different kind of people looking out for you, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, I reached out to some of them. They came. They swabbed my house, my front doors of my crib, back door, the handles, my car handles, and my car handles tested positive for cyanide.
Wow.
So,
And a little bit of that's the thing. You can break a vial in your mouth and die. So not much cyanide is required to kill you.
bro, I was so sick, bro. Like I was so sick. I only got one lung basically right now because of this. You
Oh,
feel me?
really? It permanently. Oh, wow.
Yeah, permanent damage. You feel me? And these guys were brazen. Like they were brazen. Like they followed me. They would stake out my locations, and
So they were trained. They weren't just thugs. They had probably
uh,
some
they
military training.
they had to have because some of the tactics they would take. I didn't went up against the average street thug plenty of times. They don't really. It's not the same level.
They don't have the skill set.
They just don't have the skill set. You feel
Yeah.
me? So we ended up having some very 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 dangerous altercations with these guys, and uh, that's what really led me to relocate to Nevada.
Oh, you left
Yeah,
Chicago?
I had to leave because bro, these guys had fully automatic ARs, and it's like, yo,
And they'll leave in and out of the country. Like they're not even U.S. Like,
bro, the cops told us. They said, listen, man, y'all got yourself in some shit now. Protect yourself.
really?
I got offered witness protection,
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm not taking part in like legal things and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm just not gonna do that. So, there were casualties. There were casualties, which eventually led to some negotiations. Just only because I had people I did security for who were able to tap into certain networks and be able to, kind of,
Back channel kind of thing.
I had to take some back channels, I had to take some back channels. So, I ended up relocating after that. I left in 2018 after that
So
last
what
shoot.
is it considered? Just even like just it's left alone?
Yeah, so pretty much they said, you stay away from us, we stay away from you. And
Wow.
I honored that. I honored that.
Do you
Sometimes
think what they were doing is still going? They probably reset that up or something, right?
they definitely did. And but what the problem was though, they had help. Like it's people in government positions who are assisting these people.
Well, that's the thing about the perversions and things with kids and all that. That's whatever percentage of the population that's into that 1 or 2%. They're scattered through 1% of Congress. So there's probably two congressmen that are into that. There's gonna be a couple cops, not a lot, but enough, because it doesn't, if you got a few people scattered here and there, it's just like a gang. If you secretly are you the such and such boys from 25th Street, and a guy you grew up with as a cop, and he secretly was a 25th Street boy, and no one knows.
You
Like,
know how it goes.
that's right. That's why the 25th Street boys get all the money on the west side of Kansas City, and no one knows it.
Hello, hello. So a guy I respect came and told me, "Look, man, you fucking up people's money above my pay grade." So I used to work with a guy named Anthony Tolentano, and he was a respected person, and that's how I was able to connect with Michael Franzese. So I did the interview with him, and me having such levels of credibility, which led me to Franzese. Now Franzese is partnering up with me to help me combat this shit. So you're gonna see me and him on some To Catch a Predator type situation. That show's getting filmed. You know, human trafficking, $12 billion a year business, and people try to associate that with just the 5% of the celebrity world when that's not the case. You know,
No.
it's the guy working at the 7-Eleven. I always say this, man. Every criminal wants to tell their story.
Yes, or they want to be caught or something because a lot of the stuff they do, I don't know, but I guess that's the thrill of it. And I guess if you're into it, you're into it. I don't know, but
It's the lack of self control because a man with no self control is not a man at all. So I remember when we were
and
going
that's
for
why the
3 years,
entertainment industry's so out of control.
out of control, bro.
And you have a lot of people, and I'll say this, and this isn't to defend any of the bad stuff that goes on, but I'll tell you, if you're even slightly consider somebody and you're in LA, there's all these people that come to LA from everywhere else, girls, that you can grow to not like them because they show up at parties and just like, oh well, I'm cute and give me this and I can see how, again, it doesn't make it okay, but like I can see how the predators of the world justify, like, hey, if you're over in my office or you came to this party, you're already a bad person.
For sure, for
Like
sure.
you're a victimizer yourself on a lower level, so now I'm just gonna victimize you. You lose, I win today. Cause normal people don't even come around.
I kind of went on a little tangent for a little while, you know, terrorizing some of these celebrity people. So that's why you don't see any of them coming on the internet to try to challenge me or anything I'm saying, because they know the boogeyman exists. You feel me? And
And if you're not lying, they can't do anything to you physically, and they can't sue you if it's true.
hello, facts. So you know that's why people like Cam Capone was like, man, bro, I didn't get no. He got a cease and desist from Orlando Brown mentioning Jaleel White. I was Jaleel White bodyguard. I spoke about being with him. He got no cease and desist for that.
Did Jaleel White? He was
No, he don't play like that
oh, he
because
don't do no
I
zest
was with
activity.
him. When I was with him, I seen Puff, I seen Sean Combs, F. Gary Gray, and I seen Ray J together in Vegas on very strange timing.
What the hell was the three of them doing? F. Gary Gray's a movie director for those who don't know.
Yeah, you know, he reached out to me trying to talk to me to clear his name. I got his phone number, but it's just like, dude, I don't want to talk to you guys, man, because I know how
Well,
y'all operate.
Diddy sounds so. He always seems so creepy to me. That
He is.
listen, a person could be involved in whatever, and you could be friends with him on a normal tip. But Diddy seems so weird all the time. I really can't imagine, other than you thinking you're gonna get a finance, like, oh, I'm meeting with Diddy and I'm gonna do a business deal. But to be around him, like I used to even say to people, like, that guy has been throwing parties for 30 some years. Aren't you sick of being in a nightclub yet? Like, what is the
Bro,
matter with you?
I swear to God, bro. So, you know, once I came out and the information about me having pneumonia and testing positive for cyanide, then, you know, Kim Porter died from pneumonia, his ex-wife. Al B. Sure died from pneumonia, his ex-security.
Wait, now that Albie Shore's head of security
He died from pneumonia
around the same time as Kim Porter, or
right after.
now we're not
Well, you know,
saying anything, we just saying.
where there's smoke, there's fire.
Do you think, just from putting pieces together, you may have seen that some, well, the details of what's in Diddy's indictment aren't really out. Do you think it's going to be some pretty crazy stuff that comes out? More so than just sex parties? Because a sex party with drugs, I think a lot of people are looking at it kind of like, well, okay, maybe I wouldn't do that, or it's kind of degenerate. But if there was no children there, so what?
He
So I
paid
don't think
Cassie.
he's not being held in federal detention because they had a sex party with adults and drugs.
Well, you know, this is the thing, bro. He paid Cassie $30 million. Innocence doesn't cost that much.
That's right. That's what I say about Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is another person under this scrutiny. And bro, I didn't have violent altercations with Combs and security. I didn't put a couple of them in the hospital before.
Oh, really?
I didn't got my head busted and fighting with them dudes.
Tell me about one of those times.
Well, I was with a lady. She took a sip of some champagne and pretty much started to faint.
At a party, at a
I
Diddy,
sipped
or
this
just some.
at a party. I sipped the champagne, get a headache. I started feeling real weird.
It's not about sex, right? I
It's
mean,
all about power.
right? Because any of us, I mean, when you have money, like you can hire a person, or you can just touch yourself and be, you know, calm yourself down, so to speak. So if you're putting drugs in someone's drinks and all that, that's some other sick thing of like, what's the girl? It's called a sleeping beauty fetish, where I want to see you asleep and do something to you.
So this is why they target fashion models because fashion models have to keep themselves slim. You know, they
And they're obviously people whose whole self identity is tell them they're. It's amazing how many women will do dumb shit if you just keep telling them they're pretty and they're important, and you
seen
take
it.
them somewhere. You don't even have to give them anything. If you're just taking them to places they perceive as important. Oh, I'm in the VIP section. Well, that don't mean anything. That's just me and you know from throwing parties,
We
you
know.
just make it up. Hey, call those two tables over there to VIP and to take some girls back there and tell them they're in the VIP.
So we know how this goes. So think about it. I was with a lady one time. Like she would get a bowl of grapes. She would chew the grapes, but wouldn't swallow it. She'll eat a cracker, chew the grapes, don't swallow the grapes. She'll get a piece of chicken, chew on the chicken, spit the chicken out into a
Oh,
little.
the not game what she wanted. Oh, you mean a model that was keeping her
Um,
weight down?
yeah, right. So
So
then
this is a mental illness. That's anorexia, bulimia.
they targeting these people. So she gets to this party, one glass of champagne, she's almost blacked out drunk.
Yeah.
So it led to a lot of times. I had to say, hold on, man. She can't even walk. She not going nowhere with y'all. And it just
Or they
led.
would try to leave with her.
I want to take her to a room. Take her over here so she can lay down and go to sleep.
So
What?
do you think, let me ask you this. So would, and again, you don't know, but like, would probably the scenario be that someone like Diddy or other, they become, like you said, like a middleman of actual rich people.
Yes. Think about it. The company Diageo that owned Ciroc have a board of directors with six people, all richer than Combs.